Hello everyone, I'm Tvani Rajaguru, rule number 4, and today I'm going to deal with practical reading of Othello as a part of cultural studies, in which I'm going to talk about both Othello and the relevant time. This is my personal information. Points I'm going to talk about Othello, author, summary of Othello, the history, and the relevant time. So, who is William Shakespeare? William Shakespeare, also spelled as Shakespeare, by name Bard of Avon or Swan of Avon. He was born on April 26, 1564 in England and died on April 23, 1616 in Avon. He was an English poet, dramatist, actor, and often called as English national poet. He is considered by many to the greatest dramatic of all the time, and he has very unique place or position in the world literature. So, summary of Othello. The play starts with in Venice. The Moorish general Othello, the protagonist, he secretly marries a nobleman's daughter Desdemona. Othello and Desdemona are attempting to build a life together, but what happened? The relationship is and sabotaged by envious friend Iago, who is the antagonist villain, who convinces Othello that Desdemona is unfaithful to him. Othello is sent to defend the island of Cyprus from Turkish invaders. Iago tells him that the audience. Iago tells that the Desdemona is having affair with his man Cassio. So Othello thinks that he is having her wife is having affair with Cassio. So finally believes Iago by the handkerchief of Desdemona, and Othello smothers Desdemona with a pillow, and Iago attempts to kill Cassio. However, Emilia, who is Iago's wife, who exposes the plan, and then at the end part of the drama in the fifth act, Othello kills himself, and Iago is taken away to be tortured. Now, the points which I'm going to deal in this new historicist reading of Othello: the first, gender equality, racism, manipulation, jealousy, impulsive decisions, and feminist reading. So, racism. As author Virginia Mason Vaughan notes that to talk about race in Othello is inevitably to fall into some degree of anachronism, while to ignore it is to efface something fundamental to the tragedy. So, as a result, Shakespeare's Othello has been appropriated worldwide as a vehicle for the exploration of racial and ethnic tensions. So, in the opening scene, Iago refers to the Othello as the thick lips in the first act, and later he raises a toast to the health of a black Othello. So, here Iago says that Othello is black. So, through these and other comments, we learn that Othello is a black African of sub Saharan origin. Racism, if I talk about today's time, racism exists today as much as it existed in the 19th century. Many people isolated colors. In South Africa, for example, the white government denied the blacks fundamental right that other citizens enjoyed. So, notably, Iago and Rodrigo hate Othello because of his complexation. They refer to him usually as racially discriminative names such as the Moor or an old black ram. So it is written in text that even very now, an old black ram is stooping your white Eve. So this was how Iago described Othello using racist slang, and which seemed to be accepted by Brabantio, the father of Desdemona. So he deceived by Iago and Rodrigo and started using less than ideal terms when regarding Othello in the council. Therefore, just as Shakespeare wanted to enlighten his audience about the danger of the racism, today's audience also can benefit from this knowledge by reading or watching this play. Now, manipulation. Manipulation is a big part of Othello. So, what happens that Othello is having open mind, and that's why everything is a result of manipulation. Iago controls his mind. His poisonous words infected Othello's brain, and slowly and gradually, Iago controls Othello's whole mind. Iago let his words misguided and deceived Othello. Despite being an intelligent general, one unyielding in the field of battle, he let his human nature get the better of him. The Moor is a free and open nature that thinks man honest, that but seem to be so. Iago uses this kind of peer pressure to force Cassio into making a mistake, and to his satisfaction, Cassio took the bill. Iago's successful manipulation is credited towards his observation of his surroundings and adaptability to that certain situation. And if we take this in the relevant time, in the relevant time, politics, the economy, and the many other aspects of modern society all possesses aspect of manipulation. Politicians rely on the propaganda, unfulfilled promises, and manipulation to obtain a status they desire. Through lies and deception, they are able to manipulate the public and their followers to believe that they are right because of the politician's pre-established position within the society. So this was the same tactic Iago used. He was seen as the honest Iago, but actually he was not. Honest and reputable, this allowed him to address Othello with full confidence in success. The another factor is jealousy. The play can also help eradicate jealousy from today's audience. This society, both people with the health behavior and those with the severe practices, however, none of them can be exclusively good or bad. So we can see that Iago is very much jealous to the Othello. Almost all the character in this Othello play, everyone are jealous of each other almost all. So for example, Rodrigo is jealous of Othello because he loves Desdemona. He hires Iago to do everything possible to make Desdemona stop loving Othello. But what eventually happened to Rodrigo? He was killed by Iago. Then Iago comes up with plan to divide Othello and his wife in the as a factor of jealousy. The story he concocts makes Othello epileptic, a situation that makes Iago refer to him as not suitable for his job. Chalice also make Othello kills Desdemona in the end, and only then he realized that he was wrong and Desdemona was right, and therefore we can learn that jealousy is dangerous in today's time also. Now, impulsive decisions. Othello is a character with who don't use his brain that too much. He's too impulsive in taking decisions. The play can teach today's audience to stop being so impulsive in making decision. Often people make impulsive decision due to obsession with some things in life. Such decisions mostly end up causing regrets rather than the desired expectation. So in the play, we can take example that many characters make impulsive decisions and that end up tragically. To satisfy their selfish intentions. For example, Rodrigo, without thinking about what might happen in case that fail, he says that though Iago, who has had my purse. Othello also makes very impulsive decisions when he kills his wife. He thought that my wife is wrong, but later he regret about that he realizes that she was not infidel. Hence, today's audience, as a today's readers or audience, we can learn that we can be more patient and think logically. The feminist reading. Feminist critics highlight the ways Shakespeare portrayed gender roles. In Act 1, Scene 3, Barbencio described his daughter Desdemona as maiden never bold. Here we can see that Brabantio was not happy with the marriage of Othello and Desdemona, but still Desdemona wanted to marry his love Othello, and that's why she was firm and she did marriage. So she honors the patriarchal dictum that once married, the wife owes her husband the same duty she had shown her father. Emilia too defers to her husband Iago's wishes even after she realizes the full extent to his villainy. She says that tease properly, I obey him, but not now. The gender inequality, we can also see that in today's time also. So perhaps one of the most prominent themes in Othello is gender inequality. The play exhibits how women were treated during the Elizabethan era, particularly through the interaction between Othello, Iago, and their wives. Othello treats Desdemona decently, yet occasionally treats her as less or as belonging. Othello does not trust Desdemona the same way she trusts him. She loves him. So we can have the question that did he actually love her, or he doesn't have the trust on her? So undoubtedly, all relationships are built using the trust L. So what was perceived here was Othello displaying arrogance and misplaced his trust. If only he had trusted his spouse instead of one of his officers, he would have soon realized the truth. There is also one the dialogues in there. So Iago, how he treats her wife as a servant. Iago says that to have a foolish wife. Emilia, his wife, says that, oh, is that all? What will you give me now for the same handkerchief? Iago says, what handkerchief? Emilia, what handkerchief? Why, that the Moor first gave to Desdemona, that which so often you did bid me steal. So here we can say that Emilia, she is on the right path, but Iago treats her not like a wife, but like a servant, like a slave. So from this conversation, we can deduce that the type of relationship Iago has with his wife, he uses her to the benefit himself, and Amelia really has nothing to say about it. She simply submits to Iago, asserting himself as the dominating figure in the relationship. In the conclusion, we can say that the themes in the Othello are very relevant to the today's society. Shakespeare addressed racism, jealousy, consequences of impulsive decision, war, and love in this play. So all these issues are in the common contemporary, or we can see in the common contemporary world too. So this work has explored possible lessons to today's audience that can learn from the jealousy or impulsiveness or racism among the Shakespeare's characters. These are my references. Thank you.
How does word pseudoscience describe racism influenced by history?
Okay, so pseudoscience, how it describes the racism influenced by the history. So it deals with the idea of the white people who are treating black one very inferiorly. So this is the idea.
How do you see inequality in recent time?
Inequality is everywhere. If we can observe that gender inequality, I have talked in the presentation. So we still feel that in many marriages, in specifically arranged marriages, or we can say that husbands have the more power of house. They are the one who earn. Wives don't have the permission to earn, or she still has to earn. But what should I do? What can I do? So this can be seen in today's time. As I have, my topic was the feminism. I told about that yesterday also, but we can observe that women still feel the gender inequality in contemporary time, in like this, whether it is commercial or a professional place or in the house.